Whoops. Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. I didn't get quite everything in order that I would like because I was sharing some news with family, and also was distracted by I managed to upgrade my computer again. This ship of Theseus that is my computer. See if I got a picture I can share with you. Not that. Yeah, this will work. So. Let me try this another way, because it's not quite the way I wanted to do it. But let's see. All right, there we go. Save it, even though I already have it somewhere else. I'll just pull it from downloads. There we go. Ta-da! And we'll share that screen with you guys. Screen, window. Yeah, so this spaghetti monster is my PC. I need to change my power supply so there's less cabling here. And this is looking inside of my desktop right here. I guess you can't hear me tapping because I have the meter on. And so this started out as originally a Core 2 Duo. Actually, no, a Pentium D decades ago. And just the component gets upgraded every now and then. And it started out as a full tower box, and now it's a desk. But that's enough of that. Today, we are going to be talking about... Where did my preview go? There it is. I closed it for the picture. We're going to be talking about Cybertruck news, FSD 10.6, electric cars in Spider-Man, Rivian, and more. So let's jump into it. Let's see who we've got today. All right, so chat is open. And the first three stories are from Dan, so let's start with that. So we've been talking about electric VTOL personal aircraft for a while, and I don't personally think it's going to take off that well. Puns. I don't personally think it's going to take off that well. There will be a market for it, but they're loud and they're expensive, and they're not all that efficient. I think stuff like the boring tunnel and public transit bicycles will probably be what saves us from traffic. But this one's almost sold out. Which brand is this one? We covered it earlier, and that's why I brought it up. That's why he brought it up. And yeah, so if you wanted one, and you've got an extra $100,000 laying around for a Kickstarter, essentially, you know where to go. So let's go to something a little more down to, well, not at all down to Earth, down to Luna, down to the space station. So Dan also shares this with us. Northrop Grumman, Blue Origin, Nanoracks, and others have a $400 million contract to avoid a space station gap. So, I like space, and we'll see if this takes off, because everybody involved, except for Northrop Grumman here, doesn't. Well, Nanoracks actually delivers too. So Blue Origin hasn't delivered yet, really, and we'll see how they do. They've got to the edge of space, or they've gotten to space, the edge of space, or space, depending on how you look at it. But they haven't gone to orbit yet. So this will be. This will be interesting. Hey, Robert William. Yeah, Eddie, I agree. Personal aircraft are they don't accomplish any of the goals of society except for them being electric. They don't accomplish any of the goals. They have more noise pollution. They have the same people you see right now running around, even in states with inspections, where the car passed inspection at some point and now has the bumper held on with duct tape and zip ties. Do you want those people flying overhead? I don't. But if they have like a maintenance standards, like, you know, you got to do your flight checklists and that sort of thing, maybe. But I expect it'll be just a little more common than we see with people running around in personal helicopter flights and Uber Air right now, but I don't see it really taking off in the way that that these companies are selling it, which is probably a good thing just for the noise levels alone. I mean, if you've heard a consumer drone, mine is not directly on the shelf where it was; it's been moved. They're not quiet. They're not quiet at all. Mm-mm. Like an angry bee. All right. So then the other one that that Dan brought up, I actually didn't plan to bring it up because it seemed a little tit for tat, but it's not a bad story. So I just didn't want to antagonize our Mach-E friends. This article on Clean Technica states that an anonymous customer says that a Ford executive told a potential Mustang Mach-E buyer it'd probably be better to buy a Tesla. And they were referring to the way that that the dealership situation was going with the markups and everything. And my friend Sergio, he's big in the Mustang Mach-E world. You should, if you're into that, you should know of his name. He suggested that it's just a matter of being careful that your car doesn't get dropped at a dealer that plays games. If you come to an agreement and everything, and then select a dealer that doesn't do markups, you should be fine. And he showed me on his twice because he's got a blue and an orange one where they didn't mess with him. Oh, excuse me. Let's see what the update came to be. To clarify up front, we have not seen any original emails from the person who shared this story, and any claim should be treated with a healthy dose of skepticism. And the post has been removed. So that further goes into like why I didn't really want to get into it. I mean, it's just a matter of that's how the dealer network works right now, and they don't have any control over how it functions. Well, not none, but the way they have it set up doesn't allow them the kind of control you would expect as somebody on the outside looking in, especially saying that that's your brand. You have no control over it. Oh no, what did I do? I closed the wrong window. Oh, there we go. So then this one was interesting to me at the beginning of the week. Sawyer Merritt was on Twitter, and he saw CNBC Andrew Sorkin ask Mary Barra a really good question. He said, it appears by my math that on average, Tesla employees who are non-unionized appears on an hourly basis may be making more money than unionized workers, for example, at GM. I didn't watch the clip to see how she responded. How long is it?
Tax incentives.
3 minutes? So I still haven't watched the clip. And Elon says this is true. Also, the Tesla employees get health insurance, stock, and other benefits. I found that to be an interesting. He just dropped in on that one. Oh. All right. So that was something interesting to me. Is that after all this talk about, I'm not saying that unions are bad, but the union that left the Fremont plant high and dry in 2008 is the same one fighting so hard to get them back. And as if I was somebody who worked there, I would think twice about allowing that, because they've proven that they're not going to hold up their end of the bargain. They can't be trusted. As far as unions in themselves, they seem to be a worthy concept, and Elon has said numerous times that they'll support them forming their own. But it seems that particular one would be a bad partner. That's just me. Bloomberg is reporting that Gigafactory Germany might start this month producing cars for sale. And in that case, Mark versus Patrick would win the bet. So they're expecting as many as 30,000 vehicles produced in the first half of 2022, which is a nice, easy start because you really want to get the team working together and then get the equipment dialed in, and then from there you could go and see about making things go even faster. Like we see in Giga Shanghai right now is the place that does the most exporting now. It actually has surpassed Fremont in cars built to export, and that's amazing. So let's see. So 5 have already been completed. They're not on the production line. What? They were definitely on the production line. You don't just make them in the floor. I think what they are trying to say there is that they weren't. It was kind of manual. It wasn't the full process. And then in UK, they're talking about installing battery packs to help with fast charging, because it's a lot easier once the battery is already the right voltage to just move that current across. And it also helps you with demand charges and allows you to charge when the grid power is down for any reason. So they are saying in the headline, the energy storage systems will help supply rapid charging in locations where the grid supply is not up to snuff, because you can slowly trickle charge a battery, and then when customers arrive, you can discharge it into 2, 3, 10 cars, and they can go at full speed, never knowing the difference, which is good. Let's see if they say which ones these are. I missed it. And then Elon sent an email out to the crew requesting they do everything they can to reduce the cost of vehicle deliveries. But there was a lot of speculation about what it means and why they're doing it, and I think it's a good move, because the less costs that are incurred in the process of the sale, the more money they can use for either other stuff in the business or to help bring the costs back down, any number of things. And it just means they're being less wasteful if they're not spending so much money. We'll see what becomes of it. As a customer, I do like being doted on, though, so it's like a little bit of here and there, but I do like it to be more fair. So, like, if everybody gets free floor mats and I get free floor mats, great. If other people get free floor mats and I don't, and we pay the same price, and I feel where are my floor mats. So, examples like that. So, I talked about electric cars in the movies. We've got Spider-Man coming out this month, and you can see the Ioniq 5 in Spider-Man on December 17th. What is this Spider-Man called? This is from Tina Casey. There it is, December 17th. In Spider-Man No Way Home. There we go. And in other news today, some folks took a Rivian and they had decided they were going to use it to tow. So here's how towing a car on trailer affects range, they say. Mind you, it's an estimate based on a photo, although that's not to say it's accurate. And did they pick it apart? So this is just a data point, I would say. Just look at it. I didn't read the article. I looked at all the tweets. Oh, the video's gone. So maybe it was a little more controversy than when I looked at it. So, like I said, there was a controversy about the towing with the Rivian. You can read through it here and just take their results as just one point, and know that there will be more people who get their Rivians and decide to tow with them. I think they showed a 60% reduction in range, which is extreme, but for some of the folks that do watch the video, they said that they were traveling at over 70 miles an hour. The package being towed was over the max weight that the vehicle is rated for as well. So losing 60% at overspeed and overweight, that actually sounds like a really good result. That's one feature that I did like about the Ford F-150 Lightning, is that it does have the integrated scales. So it'll tell you if you've loaded the bed down too much, or when you're doing the tongue load, if it's more than the vehicle is rated for. So at the very least, when you start complaining about the range, you'll know that it was because you overloaded the truck. Nissan has reported that they're going to have 23 electrified models, including 15 plug-in electric vehicles by 2030. So half of their sales will be globally electrified by the fiscal year 2030. And they're pulling this weaselly word, electrified, that we see from all of the established automakers. And they're counting a lot of hybrids in that. Not even plug-in hybrids, just regular Prius-style hybrids. And sometimes not even that. Like, we're talking like the what they call the battery assist hybrids, where literally all they do is shut the engine down at a stoplight and then fire it back up again later. So they could do better. I mean, we're talking the folks that came out with one of the first fully electrified as far as it's an electric car. You plug it in, that there's no alternative. It's electrons. They were one of the first in the country, and they could do better than this. But 15 is not a bad number to sneeze at. We need more variety to electrify all the things, and plug-in hybrids as well are a good gateway drug to get people moved over to EVs, because they can see, oh wow, this plug-in hybrid of mine had a 50 and 100 mile range, and it did what I needed. So now I'm tired of the daggum engine turning on all the time. I'm tired of going to the shop to get oil changes. I'm tired of all the gas maintenance. Let's get one with a bigger battery and drop this gasoline nonsense. The other ones I would like to see as plug-in hybrids would be fuel cells. There's no reason for the fuel cell to be just hydrogen. If you can get a 100 mile battery in a fuel cell, you can run it, even a 75 mile battery in a fuel cell. You can run it on electricity nearly all the time, and then on long trips, assuming that there are stations on your route, you can then fill it up faster, quicker on hydrogen. And you don't have as many of the deleterious effects of gray hydrogen or the wasteful effects of green hydrogen. Because green hydrogen is energy you could have just thrown into a battery pack. And gray hydrogen is just worse than gasoline most of the time. It's reformed to natural gas, and you might as well have burnt that directly in your stove. Let's see, Eddie says, hybrids. I figured they would count those. Absolutely. And they should not count. I mean, yes, they have electricity, but traditional fossil cars, since the electric starter was invented, also has electricity. And if you wanted to really get pedantic, you could say those are electric as well. And everybody knows you're lying your butt off if you say that. So they should consider this the same way. Lies. Darned lies and statistics. I'm not afraid to use that word. And what will help Nissan get there is they have announced a new proprietary solid-state battery pack at $75 per kilowatt hour per pack. They expect them by the fiscal year 2028, with a pilot program at their Yokohama plant as early as 2024. So they're running close on this, and we'll see if Toyota beats them to this or not, because Toyota has been screaming about solid-state batteries for decades now, and we still haven't seen anything of it. Have we seen any prototypes even? I'll have to look into that. So let's see what we're looking with here. I didn't preview this video. Music. All right. Battery evolution. Carbon neutrality. So they've got... I remember this vehicle. Everybody had an EV in the 90s. Very few of them made it. As soon as, was it Exxon bought the nickel metal hydride patent, they were done. Oh, there's the Aria. The Aria is a traditional battery vehicle, but unlike Nissan's previous attempts, it actually has a liquid-cooled battery rather than air-cooled, or not cooled, I should say, because the Leaf had no active provision for the air to actually do anything, while the Nissan ENV 200, the little van, had a small computer fan that would run through the battery pack to help circulate the air a little bit. So, yep, see right there, they're talking about the battery temperature being maintained while driving. They're advertising, yes, we finally did it. And so in Japan, you'll get 2 ports. You'll get one on the other side that has J17, 72, and CCS, and one with CHAdeMO. In the US and other nations, you'll only get the CCS port. Let's see. We're not sure whether the solid-state batteries will be Nissan's cobalt-free technology, or if it'll be a separate solution with a more conventional cobalt-free chemistry like lithium iron phosphates. But it's a step in the right direction. Speaking of Giga Shanghai, like we were earlier, the Tesla Giga Shanghai is barreling towards an output of over 1 million vehicles per year. Remember, this year Tesla might be at or over 1 million vehicles, just barely. And this one plant is going to do it by itself very soon. And that is incredible, especially with 2 more plants ready to open up. And 2 of the Gigafactories don't even make cars. Gigafactory 1 in Nevada makes batteries and motors. And Gigafactory 2 in Buffalo, New York doesn't make cars at all. They make superchargers and energy storage units. So this will be amazing, and I can't wait. Let's see. Parts of the Model 3 and Y ramp. And these are from recent reports in Shanghai. They haven't really been disputed. So I'm excited to see what happens next year with the Tesla output, both in cars and in other products. And the headline on this one has changed from when I read it earlier this week. Samsung to supply new advanced auto chip to Volkswagen. And I'm curious how this goes, because the way that it was worded when I found it was that they would be putting some of that output for the new Samsung plant in Texas towards Volkswagen. Because I had asserted that there's only one automaker in Austin and only one that Samsung has bragged that they have contracts with. So it was unlikely to be anybody else. But this had implied earlier that that this would also be going to Volkswagen. But this is one of the things we saw with Tesla, why they were less impacted by the chip shortage than the other automakers. They were willing to go with more modern chips rather than insisting on the tried and true, I need the old stuff that's been working for 20 years, it's bulletproof, blah, blah, blah. Well, nobody's making those right now. They're all making the new stuff. And it looks like Volkswagen is or at least, Volkswagen is doing what Herbert Diess and Elon Musk urged them to do, and to get with the program and get with modern times. And that is pretty cool. Right. Then we get to a Twitter thread that Musk jumped on. So Omar's blog, one I call Other Omar, says he's in love with the yoke. It's just so satisfying to use. Because this person, Josh West, was saying it's sketchy snow, so chill mode on performance tires, flat army. So I don't think he was saying, based on this, that he was complaining about the yoke. It looks like he was complaining about he's on summer tires in the snow, and the summer tires are, depending on which ones you're working with, are only good down to 40 or 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and be careful. Elon says the yoke allows unobstructed view of the screen. As you can see right here, like you're looking straight at the screen. You don't got to look up over it, down through the middle, or underneath it. So I like this look. Elon says the acid test for the new interface is to use it for 2 weeks and see if you still want the old version. After using the yoke for a few weeks, I didn't want the wheel. And Elon's not the only one to say this. We had Marquez Brownlee. We've had several other Tesla owners come back and say they're not going back. So what I think would be cool would be to get this yoke with the proper variable ratios, and that will be fun. Would you say it's true for most city and highway driving, but the wheel is sharper, better if you live and commute in twisty mountain roads? ? Elon agrees. Variable gain, steer by wire yoke would be ideal. And Zane asked him, will Cybertruck have the yoke? Elon Musk says Cybertruck is intentionally an insane technology bandwagon, which is super exciting as a reservation holder. But this isn't the only Cybertruck news. We've got more coming up in the show, so stay tuned. Cybertruck will reach far into post-apocalyptic future and bring that technology to today. Can we get a legit Cybertruck update? It's been about 2 years after all. He says, oh man, this year has been such a supply chain nightmare and is not over. I will provide an updated product roadmap on the next earnings call. So the last quarter ended September, I believe. Yeah, we've already heard from them. So early next year, we should hear something, I think. Will the roadmap have waypoints? Glad you're going to be participating in the next earnings call. I hope it's just for that segment, because the last one was so smooth without Elon. Like, they were on point, and it wasn't as boring as we had expected it to be with just the financial types. I'd love to hear that it's final design drivable, new prototype for the new roadsters completed yet. You said back in January that you'd aim to have it done by now. Yes, Ryan, but he just said that the whole market has been topsy-turvy. Right there in the tweet you're replying to. So let's do this. Let's go over to ir.tesla.com and see when the last earnings call is. Yeah, so we had one in October. So the next one should be in January sometime, maybe February. And we'll get ourselves a thorough Cybertruck update. And this one I thought was a joke the first time wait, let's see what Eddie had to say first. The subject of winter and summer tires is foreign to me. Yes, it is. But, we've got some folks that see some snow. We got all around the world here. Let's see here. So this next one I thought was a joke when I saw it at first, and then I saw actual news articles coming out about it. This angle here is a lot more favorable than the one I saw. The one I saw was head on, and that's why I thought it was a joke. That grill is ginormous. So the BMW Concept XM PHEV has a 750 horsepower, 30-mile electric range, and this is close to production preview of BMW's second production car. So this is only the second BMW to bear the M badge, and 30 miles range. Like I said, plugins will teach you that if you plug them in, that you don't need the gas. And in this case, I don't think that BMW is trying to teach them. I think they're just trying to wean the customers off because they don't have a choice. They're going electric. I'm hoping there are more pictures here so you can see the monstrosity I saw first. Yes, this thing. I thought that somebody had photoshopped this and they were playing a prank on us. Like, there's no way, because you see that meme going around where you got the BMW grills through the years. It started out as these little kidney beans, and they got to be a normal size, and then they got to today where they're a little bit larger than they need to be, and then tomorrow's supposed to be the whole car, right? That's bigger than some cars right there. That's half of the front of this SUV is grill. It's a bold statement. So let's look at these other pictures. One cool thing you don't have to worry about with EVs is you don't have to focus on your exhaust ports. It's a little Freudian right there, and focusing on outputs. Because there are none. This angle looks good. Let's see what else they got here. Yeah, I like that angle for this thing. Not feeling it. It looks like it's got active shutters. That will help because you've got so much of the interior of the vehicle exposed to the airstream. This is not good. So we've seen a lot of folks put their charge ports here, but what we now want to start to see is have them either on the passenger right side or the driver side rear. So that way, as a customer, you can then use the largest charging network out there, the supercharger network. The other thing that might be all right is dead center or aft. Just have it right there in the back under the license plate, like the old gas tanks. That way, you don't have to worry about whether or not you can partake in using the superchargers. It's not, other than that grill, it's not ugly. I mean, I've never understood the pleated leather diamond, but whatever. Well, that roof is a nice touch there. Although I like having a glass roof, so I wonder if that's just the studio, because that looks like sky there. So yeah, I like the glass roofs now. Interesting floor mats. They match the seats. I mean, it looks luxurious. They carry the grill theme into the interior. The screen doesn't look bad. Have a gear shifter on the console for what? It's an automatic. You're going forward or backwards. Maybe neutral. The door panel seems alright. It's got memory on the passenger seat. I like. Surprised we don't have memory on the passenger seat of the Teslas yet. That is an oversight on a car that is completely computer controlled. Did it just cycle back around? It did not, but they have the same pictures again. Yeah, so what do you guys think about these BMWs? Saw a big red BMW iX big grill. Yes! I love that beaver teeth look, though. But see, now it's bigger than the beaver teeth. It's something else. Because I was joking on the iX that it had beaver teeth, and this is going beyond that. The seats are gaudy. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand the seats. Interesting. Right. There's an article I never did get around to reading. It's by Tina Casey about solar aerogels, or transparent aerogels being good for solar. So knowing what aerogels can do, I suggest that perhaps this helps with the heat. But let me pop the article in the chat so you guys can look at it later. It's a busy week. All right, so that's an article about the tweet that Elon was talking about the employee pay. So we'll skip that. And Alex of Electrified what's the name of his channel? E for Electric. He was reporting that Rich Rebuilds was getting bullied by Rivian. And I read the article and I watched a bit of the clip, and it doesn't seem that Rivian could have done better here. It seems that they were trying to intimidate Rich. And at issue here is that he took a Rivian arm when him and Steven went to the ride and drive, and they went on their off-road course, and they finished early. And the folks at Rivian assumed that meant that they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and they bullied them into giving them the footage to see. And then they found out that Rich and crew did nothing wrong at all, and they still didn't let him back out on the track. And you treat the media with kid gloves. You don't want to be trying to bully, even though he's a vlogger. He's just still got an audience, and you don't really want to get into that mess. So let's see. Alex had a here. Oh yeah, so it's already where it needed to be.
It's kind enough to share the footage of the drive that you're looking at right now, and once Rivian staff realized that nothing was done wrong, they left. And that, if you ask me, is media intimidation and borderline bullying.
Yep. Agree. So just be more careful out there when you're interacting with the public, especially like if you're going to accuse somebody of doing something. Maybe have some proof. And in other disturbing news, The Jeep's electric pickup is not coming until 2024, according to a report by Inside EVs. They have vowed to offer an all-electric version of every model by 2025, but the Gladiator is going to be a long time coming. And it's a shame, because it's a pickup, and electric pickups are all in vogue right now, so they could actually stand a chance, because you've got the Rivian and the Gladiator are the only smaller pickups that are out there right now that are on the electric roadmap, and everything else is a full-size pickup. You've got Cybertruck, F-150 Lightning, and then everybody else's stuff, and then all of the GM, trucks are full size. You've got the Silverado and the GMC, which we haven't seen yet, and then you've got the Hummer. Hummer is full size, but it's a Hummer, so it's also ginormous on top of full size. It's got the big wheels. It's got the proportions are just blown up, and this would stand a chance as a normal size truck. Let's see who gave the report. As part of the merger, they announced they were going all electric. Yes, they're fully committed to zero emission future. The Jeep 4xe in every SUV segment. The Jeep 4xe disappointed a lot of people with its short range, and since so few people are into sedans anymore, you gotta put the vehicles that they want to drive out there, and every minute you hold back is a chance for you to just go under. They totally are, and it's, since that's what people are buying, you should be there. If you're in there with the fossils, you're going to be left holding the bag, or buying electric credits from Tesla. So this article didn't load. Still not loading, but it's about the Rivian video, the 62% range loss allegations. So we'll skip it. Tina Casey writes all over the web. I like this one. So she's basically confirming what I said in my video about the 3-minute gas fill. If you change your fleet over to EVs, you'll spend less time, because EV charging is faster than gas in the grand scheme of it. Yes, if you are on a long trip, then the gas is literally a few minutes faster, but in the entire year of driving the car, electric is faster than gas. So it's click and go about your business. So you're already charging it where you park it. It's just, you already had to park the car, and you're going to go past the charge port. So let me get a copy of this article here so you guys can read it. I would say that truck driver owners tend to be short-sighted. I wouldn't say all of them. I will say that there is going to be a large segment of the truck buying populace that will, one, not like change, and like we saw with the race car driver we talked about on What Drives Us this week. There was a race car driver who asserted that racing will never go fully electric, and some people just don't have an open mind to things. And yeah, it's true that there probably will still be some fossil racing for a long time into the future, but we no longer ride horses everywhere. Primarily, we have buses, we have cars, we have the train. We don't ride horses for transportation. We ride them for other reasons now. So yeah, we probably won't go 100% electric as far as like 99.9%, because that one guy is holding a gas race, but he let's just call him myopic, to be polite. Yes. And so there are a lot of people that share his views with gas, but what folks are going to find out, especially in fleets, is it's cheaper to operate just in maintenance, and then it's also cheaper to operate in fuel. And as Tina just said in this article, the time. All it's going to take is for their bro that they look up to go and get the truck, and then all of a sudden the whole club will be clamoring for an EV, and it's just a matter of social proof on that. The first person to try it out is gonna get the ball rolling in each of these little communities. I don't know that it's actually going to be slower than everybody else. That's a real possibility, but I think it's going to be like we saw with the electric cars. That like the Hummer is starting out high, the Cybertruck is starting out capable. The Chevy is going for the middle. Ford's going for range. So we'll see. I think this multi-pronged attack, when all of a sudden everybody's got an electric pickup truck all out at the same time, roughly. I think that this will change minds. Look at what hybrids are today. They had a handful of them 20 years ago, and now everybody's got multiple hybrids on sale. Unless you're Renault. They saw 4 months in a row of sale declines of the Megane and the Kangoo. Sorry. So I guess the chip shortage is holding them back from releasing the next refresh of these cars, and at the same time, I wonder how much of this is just because people can't get new cars at all. So let's revisit this. Let's revisit this later. Somebody remind me later to look at Renault's electric sales and see how they did when the supplies returned to normal. All right, another article on the XM. BMW previously released a statement saying that the previously listed 750 horsepower and 737 foot-pounds of torque figures for the XM were wrong. Correct figures are 740 horsepower and 738 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, it's a concept. They could have just said whatever, and then the real car could have just had less power. But kudos on them for fighting for truth. You know, they said, hey, no, our numbers weren't quite that high. You don't see that every day. Gloria, what does it have to do with what we're talking about here? Not on target. All right, so more about the BMW XM. Uh-oh. So I pulled in a video from Reddit. They were talking about the braking performance with carbon ceramic braking kit, and the video has been pulled. So I think it might have not been an officially sanctioned video, but it was with the Tesla carbon ceramic kit that we were talking about last week for $20,000, and the video's gone. So it was impressive. It worked, and without the video, there's nothing to talk about there. We'll see it when normal people can buy it. All right, so Teslarati is talking about how Tesla worked with LK Tech for over a year to design and build the Gigapress. I think that this Gigapress right here is really going to be part of what allows Tesla to reach their production targets. Because if you can just pour in some metal, I know this is simplifying it, pour in some metal into a mold, and then out pops, a third of a car, or actually 2/3 of a car, because the front and rears at Berlin and Austin are going to be gigapressed. And then you've got the battery will just be one piece that you bolt in. This will be an incredible increase in production over I think they said that the Model 3 rear end was something like 130 pieces, and now it's one. Same with the Model Y was 2-3 piece rear end, and now it's one. I think this is the future, and it's a moat that Tesla has and will have for a little bit. Let's see here. America needs something like the e-Renault for regular folks. Yeah, we need more affordable EVs across the board, more selections. So we need some cheaper ones. We need some more mid-price ones. We've got plenty on the high end, but could still use more because some folks are saying that they don't have the luxury that they expect in an EV. So come on, Rolls Royce, Bentley, let's electrify all the things. So from what I read on this one, I didn't read too much into it. This is coming from Mark at the Tesla Life. Or it could be Patrick. I don't know if he tweets on the channel or not. Tesla and fellow renewable energy companies are standing against the Australian proposed network fees. So what this is battery owners are going to be charged both. They're going to be charged basically a transmission tax for both charging their batteries and discharging their batteries in Australia, which will have the effect of making it less cost effective to operate a battery. And when you look into it, Australia makes almost all their money from coal. So it's very clear to see where they're going with this. They're going for protectionism rather than taking care of their people. One of the interviews where they get to Elon Musk to crying is where they explain that these families are deciding what to do about feeding their family or keeping it safe for them to be inside the building because it's hot in Australia. And we saw that the original Tesla Megapack, not Megapack, but Mega installation, it made a lot of money really fast because it's able to respond faster than the peaker plants, the gas plants, and it's able to help out those baseload coal plants to do their job. And if you put enough of them in there, you can actually replace some coal plants, as we saw in Europe. And obviously, some politicians don't want that. So let's see. Let's copy this link. Let's see what the author says about it. All right, so Tesla and fellow companies are standing against the network fees. So basically, it's a rule change to clarify how battery storage systems are classified in the grid, as well as their role when they're combined with renewables such as solar and wind. So it's a double-pronged attack. So a straight battery is going to be considered different than a battery with renewables, which is even worse if you ask me, because a battery attached to a renewable solves the whole problem people are always whining about. Oh, the sun doesn't shine all day. All right, we charge this battery and we release the charge throughout the day as is needed. Oh, the wind isn't always blowing. All right, well, while the wind was blowing, we filled up this battery pack. Here you go. It's frustrating when people try to stick with the old stuff for greed, I should say. Old guys don't want competition and scramble as politicians to fix the problem. Exactly what I'm saying here. Scramble is bribe. Yeah, I'm reporting spam live. Okay. Yep, indeed, it's cronyism to reward uncompetitive players. Yeah, we've seen that currently with our millions of dollars per second subsidies of fossil fuels here in the rest of the West. Why would battery pack operators need to pay network fees when giving power to the network at the same time coal plant operators don't have to? Yes, exactly. I wonder certain old energy Australians weren't watching Texas, Wyoming, and thinking about how great a robber baron cronyism would be for them. So this. Yes, Dan, exactly. Similar to what Dan calls the no gas tax. It's an extra tax for not using gas in Georgia and much of the U.S., where your EV or other alternative fuel vehicle is going to pay more in registrations or property taxes, both inspections, to make up for the fact that it doesn't give them any gas tax, despite the fact that if they have all those other things than registrations, they already get it back in the fact that most of these cars cost more. People always reaching in your pocket because you're doing the right thing. But it's all right. Even with their nonsense, it still ends up working out better. Better for you, better for the environment. Save this one for later because I touched on it with a straight up article. Yep, California too. All right, so this one, Elon sent an email to all the folks at SpaceX. He loves sending at all emails. He's saying that the Raptor engine production is a disaster that puts SpaceX at risk of bankruptcy. Literally, I can see that, but in actuality, I don't. I think what this is him trying to rally the troops, because he called them all back in from vacations and everything. Everybody's coming into the office to work on completing the Raptor engine, because if they don't have Raptor, they are building the next Starlink, which is counting on the volumes that you need that you receive from launching them from Starship rather than from Falcon 9. And they're a private company, yes, but they're not really at risk of going bankruptcy anytime soon. The people want to invest in SpaceX. So myself and a few others see this as a rally the troops email rather than literally we're going to go bankrupt. But if they don't change anything, even with that fresh cash that they can get a hold of, eventually people will stop putting money in. And so that's something that he wants them to work on before it gets to be too late. Right, exactly, Dan. He has a set mission, and it's behind the timeline for him. Plus, what he's saying is that the managers who are no longer there, they either didn't do a good job or they concealed stuff from him, which is the same problem he had with the early days of Tesla, where one of the marks was lying to the board. So he's very sensitive to that sort of situation where what is being reported to management and the board is not accurate. So that's what he's alleging here. So hopefully they can get everything back on track and we can see a Starship test flight around the world and then see more Raptors get built, because they're going to need 39 of them per booster and 6 of them per Starship at the moment. And 39, right? They need over 40 rockets per ship. So they got to get to it. All right, let's see here. What you got here, Robert? All right, so he sent me a photo of the electric price. There is £19.59 per kilowatt hour. Good gravy. That is really high. Is that at an electric charging station or is that at the house? Because here I think I'm paying 13 or 14 cents per kilowatt hour. But if that's at the house, you need solar like yesterday. I know you gotta do some work on the roof before it could even hold the weight, though. There's some good news here. So Drive Tesla Canada, I don't know why they haven't changed their name to something more worldwide yet, because, man, these guys are everywhere. They're reporting that Tesla has helped boost the electric vehicle sales in Israel by more than 700%. So I told you, they're everywhere. They launched the Model 3 in Israel earlier this year, and its rising popularity has helped boost electric vehicle sales to record figures. In just the first 11 months this year, 9,600 EVs have been sold in Israel. That's 700% more than in 2020. So I'm guessing that most of them are Model 3s. Yep, 5,280 Model 3s for 55% of all EVs. And in distant second place is the MG ZS EV at 15.3%, and the Airways U5 at 4.4%. And button. This is the Airways U5. Darn it, it opened a new window. What was the point of that? Yeah, so this is the Airways U5, and over here is the MG ZS. Well, the old one. So let's see if we can't do this. Copy link, paste it in here so you can see a modern one. Not a bad looking car. Elon played the management team with his email, knowing someone will leak it to the publication. Maybe. That's the house rate. Oh man, Robert, what can you do to get that rate down? That's preposterous. I mean, 1 kilowatt hour, you can. That's expensive as heck. I mean, I think kilowatt hours to boil a kettle. 20 pounds to boil a kettle. This one was just a fun one to me on Reddit. This guy's asking why car companies think a successful EV means absurd, ugly AF design. Case in point, Nissan. This one's actually not bad, but I mean, he's got a point. Why do they think that especially after Tesla has proved that they don't have to look out there, well, except for the Cybertruck. Your cars don't have to look wild and crazy to work and be successful. Let's see, got 2 pictures. Yeah, that's not going to work. Not going to work at all. I mean, I would love to drive something like that, but it's not going to work. Yeah, that one's a concept car. They always look weird. We'll deal with that later then. Close. So what do you all think? I mean, like the Nissan Leaf, the original one, had the bug eyes. Yeah, their excuse was it was aerodynamics to keep the air off the mirrors. But did it really have to look like that? I mean, they looked like bug eyes, like a little frog. Yeah, solar on your roof would definitely bring that down to reality. But I understand your roof needs some retrofitting before it can even take a solar panel on it. So to suggest that that's what you need to do, I can't do that because that's expensive. You got a lot of work to do up there to make it happen. That's so expensive. I don't. Is that demand pricing or why? Like, does it go back down at night or something? Because 20 pounds. The Leaf only got a makeover because of the Model 3 dominance. Yeah, basically the Leaf that's on sale today is really just a skinning. They made it look like a modern normal car, and I wonder if they think that the sales not continuing to rise when they did that means that they thought the Leaf was unsuccessful, rather than the fact that that Leaf is unsuccessful rather than people not wanting electric cars. So I don't know why I pulled this up, but I've got the Unplugged Performance Braking Kit, carbon ceramic, the big front brake kit. So this is just the front wheels, $8,995 to $9,595. So if you double that, you're at just under $20,000. What does that tell you? I wonder if this was from the video. No, because they would have pulled it for that case. But there you go. So just to follow up to last week with the carbon ceramic brakes, they cost 10 grand per axle, as we saw a couple people say. So here's some fun news. Elon put a tweet up. He said, "Blow the whistle on Tesla," and then he announced the Cyber Whistle. He says, "Don't waste your money on that silly Apple cloth. Buy our whistle instead." And Trevor says, "Still waiting on that candy." Whistle tips were never an option for electric cars. Excuse me. All right, so I actually had put this in there later. No, I didn't. I didn't put it later in the show. So here we go. Let's go there. I did manage to snag one of these. It's out of stock now. It's a $50 whistle made from it's a limited edition whistle made from premium collectible made from medical grade stainless steel with a polished finish. The whistle includes an integrated attachment feature for added versatility. What are you attaching to? And all cyber whistle sales are fine. I thought it was pretty fun, and I compared it to Supreme. I said that Tesla is doing drops like Supreme. You may have seen their logo. In fact, let me just pull it up. Where they do these limited edition runs at, well, not just Tesla, but all the Musk companies, from SpaceX to the Boring Company. They all do these drops. And so let's see. You'll recognize the logo, most of you, when I pull it up. So yeah, Supreme. They just take stuff and they brand it, and they're very successful at it. So that's how I see these Tesla products when they come out. I'm like, if I can afford it, let's just grab it, because it's going to be sold out and it's going to be popular. So we talked about this last week and the week before. But this is another take on it. It's a different incident. So a Tesla Model S lands in a yard after a 30-foot fall. 7 people walk away. The Model S hasn't been a 7-seat in several years. It definitely wouldn't have had the autopilot 2+ camera housing, so this is definitely not a 7-seat car. And of the 7 people, 6 were kids, and they were not wearing seatbelts, and there was no car seat for the youngest child. And it was worse than that. The driver was drunk. So it was on the evening of Thanksgiving. The Model S lost control while speeding, went over a guardrail, and dropped 30 feet into a residential home's backyard. Thankfully, this is, as I said, we were talking about it recently. This is the second Tesla off a cliff crash in a matter of days, and all involved were primarily unharmed. So, I mean, thankfully it is a safe car, but you don't want to rely on the car's safety to keep you safe. You want to not put it in the position to test it. So, wear your seatbelts. Don't drive drunk. 1 person per seatbelt. The car landed in Jeremy and Amber's backyard. They explained to the news. I think it took all 3 trees out. We didn't see any marks in the ground between here and there. It appears as if it came through the air all the way from there to here, which is saying a lot, because I think the lightest Model S is just, no, not the lightest. The average Model S is around 48 pounds, and the lightest will be a few hundred pounds lighter than that. She said it was so loud that there were 3 really loud bangs, followed by just debris, sand, and rocks hitting our window. I've never heard anything like that before. If you see somebody who's been drinking, take their keys. Don't let him drive. Do all EVs tend to be crash safe like that? Not necessarily. Because remember, their goal when making the Tesla was to... Safety was goal number one. And then number two was to prove that they could do it. And then number three was that they wanted it to be fast and cool. So during the early tests of the Model S, they actually broke the testing rigs because it was so powerful, it was so strong that it held up beyond the requirement. But EVs will tend to be better than a non-EV because they have extra weight, and so that's more mass to work in your favor when it comes to a crash against other people. Not exactly 100% accurate, Dan. The Model S and X still use key fobs, and you can buy a key fob for the Model 3 and Y. But yeah, it's a lot harder. It's their phone. But yeah, take it from them. Yeah. Or you drive their car. I don't know what it takes, but just keep them off the road. And how about somebody who knows how to use speed appropriately? Model S Plaid becomes the first production car into the eights at not 0 to 60 at the quarter mile, 8 seconds. So let's see what this organization has to say about it. Case in point of comparison, the Bugatti Chiron does the quarter mile in approximately 9.5 seconds. So you could buy a Plaid, drive it directly from the showroom. Still logged out of Twitter. Or what? I'm back. Okay, I'm back. As a point of comparison, the Bugatti Chiron does a quarter in 9.5 seconds. So you could buy a Plaid, drive it directly from the showroom to a drag strip, start taking out of the supercars pretty quick and easily. Even multi-million-dollar 16-cylinder quad turbo monsters will have to work hard to keep up. Pretty silly, really. And the limitations of tires. All right, so let's see what the organization had to say about it. The drag sign. All right, so they changed the tires out, or not the tires, but the wheels. She's got her safety gear on as required. A few months ago, she set the Plaid world record at 9.081 seconds at over 154 miles per hour. And that was in a stock Plaid. And then, there we go, there it is. So her eights are 8.994 seconds. Oh my goodness. Fully production vehicle. So it looks like the only thing she changed out was the tires. I don't see another headrest in there. Let's see what she did. Believed to be the quickest in a true production vehicle, giving Tesla quite the dubious distinction. All-wheel drive. Okay, so it did have some weight reduction modifications done before she made the record-setting pass. The passenger seat was removed to save some weight, and more performance-oriented wheels and tires were added to the car. So those aren't stock tires. The incrementals for her run are very interesting. Tesla cut a 1.436 60-foot and flew past the half track marker in 5.816 seconds at 125 miles per hour. Quarter mile in 8.994 seconds at 155.10 miles per hour versus her previous record at 154 miles per hour. Interesting. Wow. All right, let's see what we're working with here. So Dominic Toretto lives his life 8 seconds at a time. Well, slower, because remember, he drives gas cars. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in a Plaid next episode. All right, so the Porsche Taycan GTS has been driven by Inside EVs. Is this the Taycan for you? It's all about priorities. So this is considered to be the enthusiast Taycan. And let's pop a link in here for you guys. to read the full article, but let's look at the stats real quick. The GTS starts at 131, and it fits in between the Taycan 4S and the Taycan Turbo S. Okay, so this is the middle model, which the middle. You get 509 horsepower with overboost, or 440 kilowatts. Dual permanent magnets. It also has the transmission, 93.4 kilowatt hour battery, of which 83.7 kilowatt hours is usable. I mean, that looks nice on the inside compared to what I'm used to seeing of a Taycan. I like that better than the wood and stupid clock. I bet the clock is still right up there, but yep, right there. But this one feels more like something I'd be interested in driving than the super luxury one that they've been showing. Optional equipment includes dynamic chassis control, rear axle steering, and 21-inch Spider design wheels. They're spinning real fast. Can't see them there. But that's an option for you. Electrify all the things, as I keep saying. And then we get a tweet from Lucid Motors. Hot off the press, Lucid Owners Club. Look at that. They got themselves a couple trucks worth of cars to deliver. And this is only a portion of them. There's another grouping of them off of the scene here. These ones. So here they are actually getting loaded onto the trucks. I like how all the EVs have breathing holes in their wraps and official car covers. These are just the transport ones, but also the ones you use when you park them in your driveway or garage also have breathing holes because they can start up at any time. So there's it loading onto the truck. There's the other side of it loading onto the truck. I also like they're using covered trailers. I mean, the amount of money you're spending on these things. I want to invest in Lucid. Let's go Lucid. Cars look ready to roll. Whoop. Drove by Lucid 2 weeks ago. Beautiful car. There's a Lucid showroom opening up near me. I should see about giving them a visit. But if they're in DC proper, I don't like driving in DC. So if they're outside DC, that'll make it easy. There were more replies to this. Warren uses it so much. There were more replies to this I wanted to share on screen. I don't see them right now. I need to start putting them in my notes so I can just go straight to the replies that I saw. So this guy counted the ones that were in that photo, and they're 51. Not bad. So I talked about it on What Drives Us, and I actually included a dude here. I didn't watch his 30-minute video. I'm not complaining about a 30-minute video from the guy who makes 3-hour live streams and 2-hour regular videos. But this isn't a case where the headline makes something seem juicier than it does. Motorsport cannot go electric only, says Robert Reed. And then when you read the article, that's exactly what he says. And I disagree. And the reason I included this nonsense was I was hoping that there'd be somebody on here to chat with. I know all you guys in the chat room know that this is false, but I was hoping to have a small discussion on it. We went for a little bit on the What Drives Us show, so if you look at this week's What Drives Us from Wednesday, you can see a discussion on it there. So then there was another Tesla drop. Come on. And, well, my wife said I couldn't get this. This is called the Cyber Quad for Kids. And at $1,900, they had a nice video. Let me see. It was Franz and his kids playing around with it. Yep, there's the video. Let me mute it first because they've got music. It's beautiful. And I think it was a 15-mile-an-hour top speed. Got quite a range to it. So you see the kids playing around, and then later on you see Franz playing around. I think it's a 150-pound weight limit. Sold out, and we're already finding them on eBay for $6,000 a piece. Yeah, there's Franz cameo. So Franz is the designer for Tesla since the original Model S, the lead designer. The Cyberquad. So I don't believe this is the Cyberquad that's coming with the Cybertruck, because that one was adult sized and this is not. But it looks fun, and I was totally going for it. The range is 15 miles of range. Oops. 15 miles of range, and did they say top speed of 10 miles per hour? I had that backwards. Cyberquad for kids is suitable for anyone 8 years old and up. And for additional details, go to the shop vac. Let's do that. Because why not? They're sold out. Can only be purchased in the U.S. Tesla shop. Cyberquad for kids can only be shipped to the 48 continental states. Cannot be shipped to Hawaii, Alaska, or Puerto Rico. I'm guessing that's because of the amount of batteries that they need, because they are lithium batteries. Ships via FedEx ground. The fact that it's ships via ground, so you can't really get it to Alaska or Hawaii without not being in the U.S. and on ground. So, yeah. Dimensions of 47 by 26 by 27 and weighs 122 pounds. Yeah, air freight on 122 pounds is going to be killer. The maximum weight is 150 pounds, 8 years and up. Maximum speed can be reversed. See, that's such a nerdy question. How fast can I go backwards? Setting 1, 5 miles an hour. Setting 2, 10 miles per hour. And reverse is 5 miles per hour only. Okay, so in baby kid mode, it goes the same speed forwards and backwards. And on ludicrous mode, 10 miles an hour fast forward and 5 miles an hour in reverse. The battery range is 15 plus miles and can vary by weight, riding terrain, and speed. How do I charge it? That's a good question. Plug the charger into the bottom of the battery. The completely discharged battery can take up to 5 hours to fully charge. For charging instructions, let's download a copy of the instructions. I am loving this. We're going to read the instruction manual. We're not going to read it, but we're going to look at the... Why is my computer so slow? Go. There we go. Hey, Dan.
Hey. I was in the middle of cooking, and I was like, oh, no, it's the cyber. Yeah, when we got the inside, that was available to get. I was like, pull it. And I got to look like 2 hours.
Your wife also told you no.
I was like, I got the Casey treatment. Don't get
yes.
it. I took too, and while the 1900 was acceptable, it's like I was like, but they ain't gotta use it right now. I can read, and then I never thought about reselling. And I was like, it's Christmas time. Somebody would have wanted it. So
it's the new Tickle Me Elmo.
Isn't everything?
So for those people whose wives say no, take it back. Cyberquad for kids can be returned within 14 days of delivery. Shipping fees are non-refundable, and you can begin return by going to your Tesla account order history. All Cyberquad for kids must be returned in new, unopened condition. If a Cyberquad for kid box has been opened, the product is no longer eligible for return.
Now, see, they could have told us this at the beginning.
What?
That it could be returned.
No. You don't want to do that.
Now you got 2 weeks to be like, we can keep it. We can honestly keep it.
Whoops, I'm sorry. The kids opened it. It can't go back.
Right. You better sell that thing on eBay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But here's the other part. All Cyberquad kids for kids returns will be a 15% restocking fee. So if you manage to get it, not open it, and then get an approved return within 14 days, you will have to pay shipping and 15% restocking fee. Okay, so this is actually by Radio Flyer and has a warranty claim online. So we've seen actually Radio Flyer has made the Model S for kids and the Model Y for kids. The Model Y for kids is more of like a scooter, like a little sitting the wheels between your legs and the legs out. Let me get some pictures.
That means Radio Flyer is doing the Lego.
Mm-hmm.
They're multi-branding past the wagon so that they can stay relevant. In a weird sideways topic, Lego has sweatpants now, but neither ways.
All right, so most folks have seen the Model S for kids, but the Model Y for kids is not the same thing. It's for much younger kids. Look! You don't sit in the car as much as you sit on it. So the roof of the Y is a seat, and your legs will go off to the outside of the vehicle. Whereas on the Model S for kids, it's much larger, and you sit inside the vehicle. So it's for a little bit older kids. And then now that they're even older, you put them in a Cybertruck. You put them in a Cybertruck for kids, and I've messed up my screen share. There we go. You put them in a Cybertruck for kids, and then they are on, I should say, and now that they are Cyber Quad for kids, and they're having more fun. All right, so
if I have 2 kids, that would be legit, or they can actually take turns properly. That would have been my first Cybertruck or Cyber Quad. It'd been the first Tesla thing in my house with a motor, and it wouldn't have been mine. It'd have been the kids. How travesty is that?
the first Tesla in our house was a Model S. Was a Tesla fleece blanket, and my wife was the first Tesla owner in our house. All right, so let's do this. We'll share screen. This is the Cyber Quad owner's manual. So I imagine now that we know this by Radio Flyer, I imagine it'll charge a lot like the Model S for kids. So it comes just like the Model S for kids. You put the wheels on, put the handlebar on. Yep, it's got the Tesla battery module for Radio Flyer. Got the charger. All right. Well, this reusing the parts is actually good. It keeps the price down, and since it is by Radio Flyer, I don't know that it just dropped. I think it might have just sold out at first, and they will have more later, like they did for the original Model S, the refresh Model S. Sorry, not the refresh, the facelift Model S, and the that Model Y that I just showed you.
I think Radio Flyer is doing what that 60-40 time. I don't know if you covered that with Elon's like, don't push so hard, take your time, give me quality product, and it will come. I think that's what Radio Flyer is doing. It. They know it's going to sell. They just want to build it.
Thank you for the follow.
Yeah, they want to build it without panel gaps. You know, they just want to get it out there because they know the moment they come off the line, they're going. So,
yeah,
you know, unless the Radio Flyer employees themselves want one, then they probably have to work overtime for their own. But
they do have the situation where when you order these, it can be a while before you receive them, but they do restock. So if you haven't yet got your chance for a Model S, Cybertruck for kids, and you still want one, it will obviously be the original batch was probably not going to be in time for the holidays, but this next batch, whenever they come out with it, if they come out with it, will definitely be later than that. And when you hear word of it, if you've already got your spouse's approval, if you need that, go ahead and just buy it. It's like we say with everything Tesla. If you see the one you want and it's available now and you've got the funds, just do it, because the price may change, the features may change, it may sell out forever. Who knows?
like
That goes, huh?
like not a flamethrower.
Yes, like that. So that goes extra on this. Oh, here we go. So this was in Design News. I was talking about the GigaPress. This is coming from a private group, so I need to get to the public article before I can share the screen with you guys. And there's that other one I was waiting on, because I think I have the article separately. So this one, I was talking about the GigaPress, and Design News is suggesting that the Tesla switching to the GigaPress die castings for the Model 3 will eliminate 370 parts. So I was talking about how many you already save in the rear and how many you'll save in the front, and then with the battery. So 370. My mouse isn't blinking for low battery, so I don't know why the clicks aren't registering. It's the right way to do things, says Elon.
I think this is I see this as a multi-pronged solution. We just went over those 2 vehicle crashes where they legitimately, in like the old 80s, 90s shows, would just go like this. Legitimately believable. Somebody can walk out alive. It's like, oh, that's fake. No, there's real world proof. But now you can legitimately have one piece
He just knew. Oh,
one piece that's solid. It lands in one piece. If somebody crazy like Rich wants to scrap half and rebuild 2 halves together, or anything ridiculous, it's there. You can salvage the other half. You can, and it's legitimately put together because it's literally legitimately 2 halves bolted together. And you just go, oh, this one side's damaged. Cut over here.
It's even better than that. As Elon said, you can cut out the broken pieces, weld in replacement pieces that you already get from your body shop channels, and just keep it trucking. But as you're saying, if it's more extensive damage, but hasn't impacted the cabin or the rear, you can just get a whole new front end with body panels and glass, bolt it on. Well, you don't have to part it out. There's only 3 parts.
Okay, part the other 2 parts out. Like, trust me, somebody's going.
Well, then they got to put it back together. Somebody's putting this thing together.
3 different cars got 3 different damages. You'd be like, hey, I got my car now.
Well, I guess you could do that.
Yeah,
right. You can just order your own front end rather than having to get somebody else to do it. So this is another up and coming vehicle that we are looking forward to. Also from Drive Tesla Canada. The Polestar 3 is due out in 2022, and now is about the time you should be seeing spy shots as they test it. So basically the fact they caught this one inside tells me it was one of the marketing spy shots rather than the actual, hey, we saw the thing on the road and look what we saw. Let's take a look.
Why hasn't Tesla Drive Canada been renamed Tesla Drive Canada International? Because they pull a lot of exclusive for international brands.
That's what I was saying earlier in the show. I was like, man, I don't know why he doesn't just rename himself at this point. All right, so look at all these cameras up front. It's at least 2. I like this overall shape from what I can see through the camouflage.
I think they do that on purpose so you can't see details.
That's exactly why. So let's see. It'll be manufactured. Oh, hey, right around the corner from my house. Will be manufactured at the Volvo plant in Charleston, South Carolina. Literally a 6-minute drive from my driveway.
More jobs.
More jobs, more tenants.
Right.
No specs or pricing were announced, but it's got to be affordable because it's smaller than the Polestar 2.
Oh, that's going to be crucial to the southeast side of South Carolina, Hilton Head, Georgia.
Well, they'll buy it because they made it. So that will help.
Oh no, I'm talking about actually like manufacturing it. Like that's going to cover the whole southeast Georgia area, as far as down as maybe Brunswick to Jacksonville at the furthest. That's a good plant area for it to be made.
What does that have to do with Georgia? It's in the coast of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Don't take our plant.
The Weather Services in Charleston. I was like, that sounds familiar. Yeah. The National Weather Services in Charleston covers that whole area. So yeah,
we're a 90-minute drive from Georgia. Yeah, so last week, Polestar also announced the Precept for the Polestar 5, the Precept which became the Polestar 5 with the 2024 production date. I think this stands a chance to come in pretty well like what it looks like. The seats might change, but they might not. Those are very Volvo-esque seats. I don't know that LiDAR is going to make it. The suicide doors might make it, might not. Those look like the Thor headlights, but reimagined.
I'm just waiting. This looks like a commercial grade car. It looks
except for those camera mirrors. I think those only currently only legal in Europe, but they are Chinese Swedish, so it could.
Okay. So 2 things. If that can open in this format, like for the US and it closes like in a folding form and then it'll fold up, that would be a key sell.
Well, like Elon said, they only have to be on there when it's sold. You can
yeah.
the customer can remove them as long as it's legal in their state.
And just imagine if Polestar made it to where not only did the hinge of the mirror fold into that little black area of the, but it folds down and then it opens up to your actual mirror. So for driving purposes, your cameras are working. It just folds up out the way for aerodynamic purposes. Woo! It just folds down.
You gotta be careful when you're walking that thin gray line. But if it were legal, that'd be one way to do it. Like if the cameras failed, and it was legal, and then the mirrors came out when the camera failed, that would be cool. But I don't know. You'd be doing that for like one market. Is it worth your engineering efforts to do that? So Eddie asks a very, very good question. It's like, so if this is the Polestar 3 that we're looking at, where's the 2 and the 1? So the Polestar 1 was a plug-in hybrid, and they sold like 1,000 of them, and it was done. The Polestar 2 is currently on sale today, and let me pull up a photo of one. If I can spell it right. Got all the letters backwards. And let me just get into the pictures because I would just go to their website. They'll have the prettiest pictures anyway. Share the screen. Go with strictly necessary. Reject the rest. All right, so Polestar 2. Why would you start with the rear of your car? That is such a weird marketing move. And if you scroll, it lights up the light. Okay, and then it spins as you scroll down.
Because we like looking at the back ends.
Because it's so fast, you're only going to see the back end.
Right.
Range up to 265, 300 kilowatts available, or 408 kilowatt power, 408 horsepower available. Yeah, so there's the Polestar 2, Eddie. It's not a terrible looking car at all. It's not quite for me, but it's well done. It's got good reviews. Interesting. It's like the palette is very. I actually kind of like that cream. I'm not a cream car guy. The palette, the way that it's changing here, is actually kind of like the late '90s, early 2000 cars. Oh, okay. So they have the vegan option, but that's the Polestar 2. Compares well with the Polestar 3.
Interesting.
Yeah. What's up, Luna? All right, so now we're going to share. This one is a recall in China on the Model 3. Sorry, Model Y. There are 21,000 and a half Model Ys, so 21,500 Model Ys are being recalled over front and rear steering knuckle issues. And some smart aleck was like, the Model 3, the Model Y has rear wheel steering, and it does not. You have front and rear steering knuckles on the front wheels. So most of this recall is focused on the rear steering knuckle of the front wheels. Just a minor technical issue. This pick is the lower control arm. Yes, there is rear knuckles pending recall for the same issue in the USA. So yeah, that was part of the other reason I wanted to bring it up on today's show, is that some vehicles in the US were also affected, and we'll see what happens. Model Y has four-wheel steering. No, the front has two steering knuckles. And then I think I have the article here.
I seen that. Comparing it to the Mach-E.
Oh, what did Sergio do now?
No, in that Twitter, it's below at the bottom. I saw the Mach-E.
Oh.
Somebody referenced it to the Mach-E, and probably that window.
21,559 made in China Model Ys due to fault in the rear steering knuckles. Does it say what will happen? Tesla also filed a plan with the State Administration for Market Regulation. Some domestically made Model Ys. Production date between February 4th and October 30th. It's quite a range. That's quite a range. For some vehicles within the scope of this recall, due to auto supply or manufacturing reasons, the strength of the foot and rear steering knuckles may not be up to design requirements. So this is the same thing you'd expect any manufacturer to do if they found out that a manufacturer gave them faulty parts. They would find out how to determine which is which, and then they would replace them. So they're doing what they should be doing here. And you can bet that the stock will drop like crazy when the US one hits for like an hour, and then people realize that, hey, it's a car. Cars have recalls. No harm done. The steering knuckle may be deformed or broken during the use of the vehicle, and the suspension link may fall out of the steering knuckle under extreme stress conditions, which affects the driving and control of the vehicle, increases the risk of collision accidents, and poses safety hazards. An announcement about the Model Y recall read. It remains quite unclear the number of Model Ys announced in the recall only accounts for cars that were sold in the Chinese market, or if it already accounts for the units that were shipped abroad. Gigafactory Shanghai is Tesla's primary export hub, after all, and the facility has been shipping Model 3 and Y to territories such as Europe and Asia countries over the years. Made in China owner says, I was driving at low speed when I heard a loud noise, suspected the axle broke, got out, and found the broken front axle. Other people reported the same issue. So let's look at these tweets and pictures they gave us here. We'll paste that, but we won't go, and then we'll copy this. And we'll go. All right, so they translated it. And let's give them a like for this work. I hope the cost is borne by the faulty supplier. Yeah, it should be. You order one was rated for 10,000 pounds, and you give me one for 5,000 pounds. You didn't give me what I ordered. All right, so I was hoping that we would get the photo from that customer so that that his wheel popped off. There we go. Made in China, Model Y owner, driving at low speed, heard loud noise, suspected broken axle, blah, blah, blah. Let's look at the photos. Yep. That's exactly what the recall said. It might pop out of the socket. So if this happens, you want to safely get over to the side of the road and then get a tow. Don't try to drive on this. Not safe. But if you're currently under the recall, you're in China and you can't hear me anyway because we're on YouTube and other social medias that are banned in China. So later on, if this affects the U.S., then same instructions apply. Be careful. And this is a little more severe, so they'll make it right. It's the whole point of a recall. Wow, one of my tabs went to sleep because it took so long to get to it. If not mistaken, you've only seen one Polestar. There've been a couple in our group that we're in. I think 3. All right, so let's look at Toyota is tapping into BYD's battery tech to build a $30,000 EV in China. So this is yet again proving that the Toyota is all about EVs in China. They don't believe about EVs anywhere else. They have the BZX4, but a 4X, but it doesn't look like they really are trying to push that vehicle. We'll find out when it actually hits the road. So because they threw away all their battery knowledge, they need to team up with BYD to actually get it done in China. Yep, see?
Is that 'cause China doesn't want hydrogen?
No, China didn't fall for the hydrogen mess. Only Japan did.
That's probably why. We don't want the hydrogen here. Okay.
Well, where are you gonna get it? Especially, they're kind of power. They're in a kind of a power struggle in China. They don't have enough electricity to be throwing it away into reforming water or natural gas.
Right.
Yeah. So the BYD Han, thanks to BYD's less bulky lithium iron phosphate blade batteries. All right. So we'll see if they have a $30,000 Toyota in China. Here we go. So here's the BZ4X that we talked about last week. So that one we don't have a real price on, but it's more than 30, obviously. And then we'll revisit this when we get some pictures of the new Chinese model, Toyota model. Then there was a bunch of SpaceX stuff. There was a rocket launch yesterday. I think there was one this morning.
At this point, when do they not launch a rocket should be the question.
Right.
I've missed times to actually show my kids the launches because I don't know. Now they're just casually just sending them. You don't hear about it until you miss the landing or something.
Right. The ones at 3 and 4 in the morning are harder than me. So I can stay up till 2. I can get up early, but 3 and 4 is tough.
Just hit the replay button.
Right. So our friend Kigai has been waiting on upgrades to his cameras for his Model S so that he could participate in the FSD beta. Well, this guy Chris, he managed to get his FSD beta camera upgrades installed right now by Tesla Mobile Service to enable the beta. My Model X P90D has had the FSD package for 5 years now. 5 years.
He paid for it 5 years ago.
And he's finally getting to see what he paid for.
But they honored it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know how many companies don't honor what they promised?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And people accuse Tesla of being one of them, but they're doing the right thing. So here you can see the front camera housing has been removed, and they're installing the new triplex cameras. So here's the interface with the window, and then here are where the 3 cameras go, and they're gonna, or he either already has or is in the process of replacing these 3, the narrow, the long range, and the wide angle camera. Narrow, telephoto, main, telephoto, wide. There we go. He's in the process of replacing those 3, and then you wire them back up, put the cover back on, good to go. And then also you need the side cameras and the pillar cameras. I had one pillar camera replaced and my rear camera, not because they needed to for this program, but because they were sending out faulty data to the car. So the side camera took 30 seconds. He said, put it back on. I was like, wow, that was fast. I did not see how long it took to do the rear camera, but it's been good ever since.
Yep. There's our favorite.
So there's Sergio and Kigai right there. He's asking Kigai if he got his. Kigai said no. He doesn't have the option yet in the app to order it. So this is really weird the way Tesla's done that. You have to be invited to order it. They should just be like, hey, your stuff is ready. Come on over. Those folks with old cameras had the button and safety score the entire time. We were playing a game we could never really win, but for a slap in the face. It's true. And it stinks. This guy's calling his friend. I called my friend the same way. But Sergio beat me to it. Let's see if he actually gets the beta too. No camera in sight for me. They weren't ready in San Diego when I contacted them, so just waiting those 5 years, just like you. Good to hear you're getting the install now.
That's the tweet from Tom Nash.
What do you say?
Comparing the two. It's like potatoes, the mocking the two.
Oh. I'm not trying to instigate. I mean, we need to electrify all the things. Never saw one of the Cringe, saw a lot. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. That must mean they must not be popular there. Or
this is going to be the most popular charging station we're going to start hearing about. The Cringe
right. All right. So other Omar was saying that the rumor is that the Cybertruck is no longer configurable on the Tesla site because they're debating getting rid of the single motor version and having only 2, 3, and 4 motor variants. So then we're going to scroll down a little bit. Elon Musk says initial production will be the four-motor variant with independent, ultra-fast response torque control of each wheel. Who else has four motors and independent torque control of each wheel and has a feature they haven't deployed yet?
Both the top two that are already out ish.
Yeah, so the Rivian and the Hummer. So the Rivian can do tank turns. So Marv asked, could it turn like a tank?
No, really can't do tank turns just yet.
No, the Rivian can't, but it's got the hardware for it. And that's what I was saying, that the Rivian
hardware.
shipped without the feature that they promised.
I think they get the motor right.
Yeah. So then Elon says, we'll have both front and rear wheel steer, so not just like a tank. It can drive diagonally like a crab. Innovate this, Mary.
This is the annoying brilliance of what Elon does. I think he purposely
use their term.
Yeah, he purposely we'll have a single motor if it's very affordable, 2 and 3, and then somebody's like, well, we can do tank turn and we can do crab walk, and he goes, hold my beer, and it's like Franz is like, oh, they did this. Let me go ahead and design this four motor. Like Franz sees it too and be like, okay, give me a second, Elon. I already know what you're going to say.
So yeah. Pope Musk Kennedy says, I want it more every day. Cybertruck will have crab walk, so GM is the leader in film.
As that Captain America meme, I get that reference.
Yeah, we looked at what was it? She was making all these memes about Mary last week. That was fun. Yeah. Can it have a big brother, the Cyberhab? You can do better than Finch. Well, I think you're partway there now. If you want to modify the body, if you can modify the body, remember it's a stressed skin like an airplane. Ironically, the RV is the best platform for habitat on Mars in many ways. Maybe.
That's a good habitat for the desert right now.
Well, yeah, if you make it airtight, then what's the difference? Probably make a bigger one.
Oh, that looks sweet.
Yeah. All right, so where else? I need to, like I said, I need to start marking the individual tweets that I found because
is that
they get very. It is. This is him in that stupid Mars concept that they had over at NASA for a while. That doesn't actually work and was never intended to actually go to Mars. It moves around sometimes. This is not really stupid. It's inspiring. Blah blah. I'm just annoyed by it because it's fake.
Make it move like the original production Cybertruck, at least. Don't tow it around and prop it there.
All right, how do I collapse a thread and still keep up with the main thread? So James Law said, don't forget to add the resistance mode. Oh, there we go. Will it deliver mirrors? Blah, blah. And Jeff says he already answered this. And attached with silly glue, like the Model S spoiler. Or the license plate holder up front, except for Model X, which is screwed through the freaking plastic. Will FSD work with crab walk? Sliding in and out of openings of traffic should be a breeze. That would be actually kind of cool.
Imagine it doing a tank turn, a controlled tank turn, or a crab walk into a confined parking spot.
That's what it's for. No need for crab walk, Adam. We discussed this. You just park on top of anyone you want. Okay, so this is foreshadowing right here. Would have loved that to parallel park on my driving test. Remember driving test. Since Hummer EV took crab mode, can you call it a Zoidberg mode? Okay.
Elon has enough money to make that happen.
You might. Little strongest man contest. How about an update on products already purchased? FSD upgraded camera focus still can't get beta. MCU 1 and FSD owners getting city streets anytime soon. When will full stack happen? Is there FSD customer support team coming? Good questions. Crabs. Crabs.
Knife holder. This crab one's going to kill me every time.
That was scary, that video.
It's where I've been at an international market and a crab actually got out, and it does that. It keeps you in front of it, and it just keeps moving.
But this one had a knife. It was legit.
If I see it, I will die laughing. I won't even touch it. And everybody,
I wouldn't touch it. I don't know if it knows how to use the knife, but it's definitely holding the knife. 0-60 with the negative.
It's a two-person grab for a. It's a two-person grab for a crab like that.
All right, I don't see the original. I don't see the original ones. So I just wanted to share with you guys on the thread, so we'll go ahead and end that. So Andre Kaperthi was on Twitter, which he does sometimes. Some panoptic segmentation eye candy. For the new project we're bringing up, these are too raw to run in the car, but feed into auto labelers. Collaboration of data labeling of a large 100,000 plus clean, diverse multicam video dataset and engineers who train the models. So here we can see what Dojo and its predecessor are doing with our data. So it's highlighted items of interest. People are red. No driving space is red. It's got the middle of the road markers. Cars are in blue. Stop signs are in green. I guess traffic controls are in green. So, any sign is in green because it's reading that sign on that store. And that parking sign, yeah. So any sign is green. All right, so then he has another tweet, second of third. The multicam video data, temporal continuity of a slowly moving viewpoint, close collaboration with data sourcing and labeling, and the infinity-sized dataset of unlabeled clips dramatically expands creative modeling opportunities on the neural net side. Oh, look, there's a motorcyclist. He's non-drivable space. Oh, it was the human on the motorcycle. Okay.
All right. Wow.
So it sees the motorcycle and a pedestrian. I guess because his feet are down, because those are pedestrians. So as the motorcycle came up, was it still a vehicle, or was it a pedestrian and a motorcycle? Let's see. No, he was always a pedestrian.
Eventually, we're going to be the fishes in a fishbowl, because this is what this reminds me of.
It's still early for this task. Help us make these panoptic segmentation predictions perfect and realize the downstream impact, Tesla/AI. So this is a job recruiting video, basically. Hey.
Aren't they always now?
Oh, of course. Hey, if you see this and you think you can help, you think this is neat, come on down.
It's either a job pitch, or it's a buy the software so we have funding to do this.
A lot of times. Really good panoptic segmentation gets the AI closer to perceiving the world as humans do, and can accelerate Tesla's auto labeling of their gargantuan unlabeled dataset, which is arguably Tesla's biggest asset in the race to autonomy. This is semantic segmentation, and that's panoptic. All right. Okay, so that would have allowed them to separate the motorcycle from the man, rather than seeing them as one object. A very fast-moving pedestrian in that case.
Tom is going to hunt your feed for a while.
Looks like it. I'm too dumb to understand this, but can you work on improving left and right turn, creeping after initial stop, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the biggest issue with creep. Oh, okay, I thought he was saying that would help creep. So, moving on, we're going to go back to Canada again. And let's see what Canada takes. Right, let's see where Canada takes us. Tesla adds cold weather upgrade to activate heated steering wheel and heated seats in 2021 Model 3 SR Plus. So remember, the Model 3 SR Plus no longer exists. It's just called the Model 3. Standard, basically. It's the Model 3 rear-wheel drive. There's no added description. That's just it. Everything else is an upgrade from this. And on that vehicle that doesn't have the extra declaration, the heated seats and heated steering wheel are now standard because it costs $42,000. So it color codes. I think the color codes are just for the humans, Eddie, because that's an offline data set that he was looking at. Yeah, so if you already had this car back before when it was called the SR Plus or the SR, which are standard range, you can now purchase the heated steering wheel. You were already able to purchase the heated rear seats, but now you can purchase the rear seats for less. So let's see. $400 in Canada, the same price the upgrade used to cost for just the heated seats. So now you can get the wheel and the seats for $400 Canadian. Or if you have a car that was equipped without the heated steering wheel feature, another reader told us they have an August build and it was available in September. Earliest is June. Been able to confirm that if you have a Model 3 SR Plus, has the heated steering wheel, and you had already purchased the rear heated seats prior to this announcement, Tesla will activate the heated steering wheel for free. So see, they're not all about money. They do the right thing sometimes, without you having to prompt them to do the right thing. If you have the cold weather feature available to purchase, let us know if your car's build date and when you took delivery. So another version of this I saw said that basically the rear seat pricing had been reduced, but I'm guessing that's if you don't have the heated wheel option, you don't have to pay the full $400 because $400 is the seat and the wheel. And who knows what that is in US dollars.
It shouldn't be too off. Canadian and US is fairly, I say, what, about 5 cents. I would say no more than a quarter off when it's conversions.
Thanks for letting me know. According to an Alexa Answers contributor, exchange rates can fluctuate wildly.
Yeah, I know exchange rates can fluctuate wildly. You're not helping me.
Equal to about $40,000.
So that's Korean won. Never mind. Amazon's not being helpful at all today. I should have asked Google. I just purchased the cool weather package in March. Heated steering wheel is toasted. Yeah, I like my heated steering wheel. 400 plus taxes. Oh yeah, you pay taxes. $448. I don't understand why they could tax us on software. I'd get it if you actually got something. So you're paying taxes on something that's been sitting in my car this whole time that I couldn't use, and now that I can use it, there's a tax. All right, so I was looking for the part where they said that that if you've only got the back seat, it costs less. It's not in that article, so sorry. So let's see. Yep, this is the one I wanted to talk about earlier. I saved it all this time for you guys. DMV flunks student for using Tesla's regen brakes. Now, when I first came across the article, it looked like another case of that fool who was using, he'd been speeding or driving in such a way that he needed to get a remedial license. And he was trying to do it on autopilot. And the instructor noticed that the steering wheel icon kept going blue and gray, and hearing the ascending and descending tones that autopilot makes. And it sounded at first, when this article was introduced to me, it sounded like that was the case here. That could not be further from the truth. This kid, he was doing everything correctly, except that the car has regen. And somehow the instructor had never heard of regen, never experienced it, and felt that the car was stopping for him and he didn't know how to use the brakes. Regen braking has been around since the original Prius in 97. So you've had 20 years to get with the program, instructor. And some folks said, well, why don't you just turn off those features? Well, because one, he wasn't using those features. There was no AI involved in this. And then two, on the newer Model 3s and S's, etc., you cannot turn off or lower the regen braking from standard to low. And no Tesla have you ever been able to turn off regen entirely, except for track mode on the Model 3 Performance. But I think you'd be in for a whole nother experience if you tried to enable track mode while on your driving test. So that's also not an example that they should suggest. There was a video interview with the kid, and his dad. Eventually, the DMV finally came around and realized that this is something they should know exists and know how to deal with, and they issued a memo to all the not the instructors but the testers to not take points off for people using regen. And so he got an email, and it said he got his license, and he was quite happy. So this worked out for him. Let me see if I've got the video somewhere else. Yeah, let's do this. Share. You're talking to me on mute, Dan.
Oh, oops. This is one of those moments where your instructors are like old, seasoned, super seasoned. So yeah,
curmudgeonly is a good word for it, because it doesn't take much to get used to that.
Of course, they're not used to that, and this is one of those areas where you got to have part-time testers who are younger.
They don't. It's not a matter of youth. It's a matter of keeping up with your craft. If you're going to be grading people on a car, you should know how a car operates. It's like an automatic transmission. Like, you can't take points off because they have an automatic transmission. Although in Europe, if you take your driver test with an automatic, you don't get a license that allows you to drive standard in a lot of countries. Okay. So, Eddie, no Tesla can turn off regen. Some of the older ones, like mine and some of the older Model 3s, you can change it from standard to low. But thankfully, the Bureau decided that that you shouldn't have to modify your car just to satisfy these stodgy old testers. Not old as in age, but old as in mindset, just locked into the ways of old. So let's see.
Stuff, and she told me that happened twice before we even left the parking lot.
Did not get very far in his driving test when trouble began.
Right off the bat warns me that the car was slowing down on its own, like at a stop sign and stuff, and she told me that happened twice before we even left the parking lot. And then we continued on with the test. We did everything that the test is supposed to have in it, and then she then pulled me in and told me I failed.
Bryce was in a test.
So he was not using any sort of self-driving. He was doing that himself. You pick your foot up off the pedal and it slows down. And so this picture, you see this picture look at the interface. This is either 6 or 7 on the Tesla interface version, and we're on version 10 going on version 11. So it wasn't an option that he could turn off regen.
Turn off regen braking. On his scoring sheet, it says applicant did not slow car, only put foot on brake after car was slowed and stopping.
And
that makes sense, because regen doesn't work below 7 miles an hour, and if he turned off the hold mode, so the car isn't braking for you, because in hold mode it will put the brakes on for you, and her complaint was that she wanted proof that he knew how to move his foot from the gas to the brake, which in her complaint, she already stated that he moved his foot from the gas to the brake. So her argument was invalid to start with. So I don't know what her problem with this child is, but...
it wasn't her child, it was the car.
No, her problem's not with the car. Her problem was with the kid. She's like, I wanted to make sure that he could move his foot. But then she complained that he moved his foot.
Yep.
And so I asked her what I could do next time to pass the test, and she told me that to not take a Tesla.
This is a broken process.
Bryce's father
did not take a Tesla.
so again, not necessarily with the car. She might be feeling that envious, jealousy. Like, I can't afford a Tesla. You got this kid in here taking the Tesla. Teslas aren't, they cost the same as Camrys and Accords. Well equipped, but still.
And I said, but ma'am, the car wasn't set up like that. Like, if he lifts his foot off the gas and starts to move it to the brake, the car's going to stop in the middle of the road.
We sent an inquiry to the main office in Sacramento, and within hours got this email response. DMV's Field Operations Division has determined the drive test score will be revised as passing. The customer will be advised that their license should be arriving in the mail soon.
They read the email.
So, yet again, we have to get a government entity to do the right thing by getting the news people up in their face. So this is ridiculous. And California is not the only one, but thankfully you guys are right now. But they're not the only ones. I've heard reports of people that are not trying to cheat, like the previous, not him, but the guy that I thought of when I first was introduced to this story. They're just doing it. Everything is disabled, and they're still running into these small-minded people.
Very well put.
Yeah. You can turn it off on the Volt. My Volt couldn't turn it off. But on the Volt, it was tied in with the brakes as well. So if you lift it, it would start to regen. You could set it to low or standard. And when you push the brakes, it would fade in until you were all on friction brakes. Or a combo of full regen and friction. Which was really fun when in the Volt, if I hit a pothole while I was already on the brakes slowing, it would feel like you're surging forward because the regen would cut out as you hit the pothole. And so then now you have 15, 20 kilowatts less braking. And so the car really does have what feels like a surge. And so interesting they added that in on the Bolt. And so it worked out good for this kid, and hopefully more places don't make this mistake any longer. All right, so I'm scrolling down off screen looking at the YouTube comments, which I know is not always a safe thing to do. For me, they made me drive a Ford Fusion so that you could oversteer, smack the curb, but still pass with an 82. Never heard of anybody passing with a Tesla. Years ago, before the DMV got smart, the rich kids were using the cars to parallel park by themselves and using that technology. So you don't want to cheat, but this kid wasn't cheating, and they were acting like he was.
And if you're using the technology to parallel park, I'm going to fail you because I know the technology is doing it and not you. So that means if you're a rich kid using it, that means you've already paid somebody off to do it.
You can see it. Like the wheel is moving without you touching the wheel.
So you have to fail them regardless. So if a rich kid can get away with it and use the system to parallel park, you can fail them unless their rich parents can pass you, say you've actually parallel park. So you have to have your hands on the wheel, especially parallel parking. And I parallel park the old way. So regardless of the technology, I'm still parallel parking. So it's just the way. Turn the stereo down, or in this case, hit the button, and just until you be like, okay, I can get in the spot.
Yep. Robert, I hope you do get it back, man. That's rough. I mean, I know you get a lot of exercise, but sometimes it would just be quicker to be able to hop in your car and roll. So two people I was interacting with on Twitter, they had an interaction of their own. Sent off. So Josh is asking what will happen to the reservations of single motor variant. The other Omar says sent off to live at grandma's farm while you pick one of the other variants. and Durandal is saying, remember the rear-wheel drive Model Y? Yeah, that's what I had ordered. Never gonna come. Which is a very, very real possibility. Let's see if anybody answered him since then. No, that was the end of that one. I hit like on it. So that's what I think might happen as well with the rear-wheel drive Cybertruck. Except unless they can make the dual motor work for fleets at that lower price. I don't know.
Buy off the fleet.
There's so much more incentive to make a rear-wheel drive truck than there was to make a rear-wheel drive Model Y. Usually drive an L, less wear on the brakes, more range. Exactly. I always drove in L or B, whatever it was. I think B was the Prius and L was the Volt. So I drove the Volt in L. I would only put the Prius in B below 20 miles an hour so that it wouldn't spin up the gas engine. Yeah. So, we'll catch you on the flip side. Ah,
That was awesome. I was like, no, Casey's by himself. Let me finish. And the weird thing is, I woke up at 9:30 and I just didn't